Hello, I'm Martha Hess, a member of the class of 1967. For the last year, I've been sharing stories about the history of Anderson Hall. Today, we are recording the 10th and last video of this series. I've had a wonderful time reading old records, looking for interesting pictures, choosing sites here in Anderson that would help you remember your days in this 144-year-old building. For the last video, I've chosen my favorite room in Anderson Hall. Now the sign over here reads Anderson 320, but during the 20th century, it was Anderson 316, and it ran parallel to Anderson 314 next door. Two of the most beloved legends of Anderson Hall taught in these two rooms, Dr. Carolyn Blair in Anderson 316 and Dr. Arthur Bushing in Anderson 314. But I want to go inside with you and let's look at the view from the windows, a view over the heart of the campus. From the windows in the back of the room, we see Sutton Science Center. But for 97 years, Baldwin Hall stood on that site. Next to Sutton is Pearson's Hall. Do you remember Margaret Ware? Family-style dining, and a wonderful house mother, Mrs. Pearl Cathy. From the side windows, we look over the CCM, the Center for Campus Ministry. In the mid-20th century, it was the bookstore post office. And at the turn of the 20th century, it was the Lamar Memorial Library. And when the leaves are off the trees, we see Thaw Hall in the distance, sometimes framed by the Chilhowie Mountains on a clear day. And from the other side window, we see Fairweather Hall. For some of you, Fairweather Science Hall. But those of you who were in school from 1969 until 2001, it was the campus center and bookstore. Today, it houses many of the administrative offices on the campus. Let's look again out the center window in the back of the room. It looks over the lawn between Anderson and Pearson's. During the 1980s and 90s, outdoor commencement was held on this lawn. I remember in particular commencement of 1985. A very special visitor was on campus. Dr. Ralph Waldo Lloyd, the 6th president of Maryville College, had traveled from Florida to the Maryville College campus to spend the weekend. On Saturday night, he attended the alumni banquet where his daughter, Louise Lloyd Palm, received an alumni citation. On Sunday, he arrived early for commencement and greeted everyone he saw with a handshake, laughter, and his infectious smile. When the commencement exercises started, I noticed that Dr. Lloyd sat down on the back row on the Anderson side. At some point, he turned his chair to the side and looked at Anderson Hall, the tower, and the flag waving in the distance. No doubt he was remembering his school days in the 19-teens when all classes were held in either Anderson or Fairweather. And certainly he thought about his 31 years as president of this institution. He led the college through the difficult days of the Depression and World War II, and finally into the first years of the space age. Dr. Lloyd's legacy of dedication and service to this institution has been passed on to his grandson, Mr. Wayne Kramer, current chair of the Maryville College Board of Directors. Now let's go downstairs to the first floor. Wayne Kramer is waiting for us outside his grandfather's old office.
Thanks, Martha. It is indeed a privilege and a pleasure to participate in this discussion about and consideration of Anderson Hall. And before I really begin to talk a little bit about it, I'd like to first thank you for all that you've done over the past months to bring Anderson Hall to life. As you may be able to tell a little bit from the video, we're right at the stairway leading upstairs to Anderson Hall, to the upper levels. But more importantly, from my own personal experience, we're right outside the office area where my grandfather, Ralph Waldo Lloyd, spent many, many days and many hours while he served as president of Maryville College. So this spot right here is incredibly special for me. It just brings back a world of memories of the years that we spent on this campus as small children. I guess really becoming indoctrinated, if you will, into Maryville College, this place, its spirit, what it's all about, and the way it reaches out to students, the way in which the faculty interact with the student body. And it's here in this place, Anderson Hall, where so much of that has occurred over the years. I remember so well my days then later as a student in the early 1970s and spending time in classes of Dr. Stein and Dr. Swenson and Dr. Claude Stewart, David Cartledge. I was a religion major, and so my time was spent here really from the very beginning. I had Spanish with Katie Martin, a special teacher, a special friend for a number of years as well. We're now in the process of a campaign to bring this building back to life. It's beautiful on the outside, but the reality is that on the inside there is work to be done. This is a chance for all of us who have had the privilege and the opportunity to study and interact here on this campus and within this building to make a difference. And we need to make a difference, and we will make a difference. This is our opportunity to make sure that 200 years from now, this place and this building will still be here to make a difference for students and this community, and indeed around the world. So step up, let us all lift the chorus, wake the echo, and make the welkin ring. Thank you, and thank you, Martha, for all you've done to bring awareness to Anderson Hall and all that it means to us at Maryville College.